she ends up working at this bed and breakfast, and it's shenanigans. Wow. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey, and we're about to get very, very nerdy with a lot of books. So yeah, I have another very large book haul for you today. Now some of these I did actually get in April because I did a fun little book buying, come online book shopping with me video. I'm going to briefly just mention those books, but if you want to see like more about them, go check that above. Let's just get right into the haul because there's a lot here. First two I picked up are the second and the finale of the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I really enjoyed the first one. I've heard mixed things about the second one, so I'm hesitant to go into it immediately, but I think I need to in order for it to like make any sense after the first one. But I wanted to get my hands on these two because I enjoyed the first one so much. I know I need to continue with them. So this just kind of takes place in a world where there are things called fifth seasons, and they're basically, how I think of them is they are basically like natural disasters that last for a very long time. It can be a couple of days, it can be 10 years, you know, it just kind of is dependent upon kind of what's happening. And it's also set in this world where like some people have magical abilities. It's all very elemental magic. So if you like elemental magic or magic kind of based on, you know, natural surroundings and weather and things like that, then you will enjoy this series. But I decided to pick up the rest of it and complete my set. The next one I picked up was The Evil Queen by Jenna Showalter. This one I actually saw on my friend Taylor's channel a couple of months ago, and it sounded really interesting, but it's kind of like a retelling of The Evil Queen from Snow White. You guys know I love me some retellings of Disney stories. This sounded incredible. I picked it up. The next one is more of a mystery sci-fi maybe, and that is The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. This one follows this, just like this world, this very contemporary world, but there's what's called, I think it's called like the Sleeping Beauty illness or something like that, where people are falling asleep and they're still alive but they're not waking up. And I believe it starts in a college and just continues from there. So this has been on my list for a long time. Fascinates me. But yeah, that's another one I picked up. Another one I picked up is Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev. This is another book that's based on Jane Austen. I have the first one in this companion series, Pride, Prejudice, and Other Recipes, which I haven't quite read yet, but I knew this one sounded incredible. It's a retelling of Persuasion, which is one of my favorite Jane Austen books, besides Pride and Prejudice, and need to get my hands on it. I know she's got one coming out soon, if it's not already out, about Sense and Sensibility, which we'll get my hands on at some point too. Another one I picked up for that video is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This takes place in a high school where this girl decides that she's going to be a prom queen because it comes with a scholarship and she needs a scholarship to go to college. But this other chick is also trying to be prom queen, and I believe there is a crush happening between the two of them. Another one is, I always get this name wrong, Alotso, I think it's Alotso. By Darcy Little Badger. This is a stunning book, but I'm not entirely sure what it's about, but I've heard incredible things. I believe it has been confirmed by the author that the main character in here is Ace, and I've never really read a book where the main character is Ace, so I really wanted to get into it. I also believe that the main character is Indigenous, and so like need to get some more of that rep in my shelves as well, and in my red stack. But this sounds incredible. Again, do not know a whole lot about what that is about, and I'm okay with that. I feel like it's very fantastical, but this cover is stunning, and also like underneath it's so pretty. Another book I picked up, which if you will have seen that video, you remember how shocked I was at its size, and that is The Younger Sister by Jane Austen and her niece, whose name is Catherine Ann Austen Huback. This is basically, when Jane Austen died, she had two unfinished works, Sanditon and the Watsons. Sanditon has been remade about 1,000 times, where other people have taken what she has written and continued the story. The Watsons has not been done. However, Jane Austen's niece, Catherine, found this half-finished story and decided to continue it based on what Jane Austen has said to her, and she was like Jane Austen's favorite niece. So this is the closest we're going to get to it being what Jane Austen wanted, and I'm very excited about it, but it is like a full-on manuscript of a book. So like I thought I was getting a much smaller book. I was not. So eventually I will read this, but this is terrifying, but I am excited to have it. Another one I picked up, actually the next two are both from the UK. I got fun UK covers. I got Ray Bear by Jordan Fueco. This is kind of a fantasy story where our main character has been raised a certain way, but her mother is known as the Lady, and she has decided that her daughter needs to be in the king's court, but she is sending her daughter to kill the king. And I believe that there is a romance that blossoms between her and the king. I've heard Jessie from Bow Ties and Books rave about this book, which is really what got me interested in it, but I really love this UK cover, so I've been holding off until I can get my hands on the UK version. It's just stunning. I think I like the nature of it so much, but it's supposed to be incredible, and I'm very excited. And the last book that was in that video, as I'm trying to go through these quickly, is The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson. Again, the UK cover. I saw Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction talk about this. She loves this book. It is based on Irish folk tales. I don't actually know a whole lot about what this is about. I don't know any specific tales that it's based on, but it does follow a girl named Wren who runs through the forest every winter as part of this kind of like warped childhood game, but then it turns very, very dangerous. So I'm not sure quite what this is, but I'm excited. Now we can get kind of into the ones you probably haven't seen yet. The next two I'm going to do together because they are part of the same series, and that is Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and Act Your Age, Eve Brown, both by Talia Hibbert. I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown last month and loved it. I needed to get my hands on these because I love her writing so much. As you would have seen, I'm planning on reading this in June, so I'm very excited about it. But this follows these three sisters and their love lives. So Dani Brown follows Dani, who has been in a relationship. It didn't end well, and so she just wants a hookup. And due to a fire drill gone wrong, she and this guy who she works with, I believe he's a PhD student, he saves her from this fire drill, and they go like viral. And so she pretends to date him to help him out with this sports charity for kids because he's very into rugby, and also she just really wants to sleep with him. So it's their romance. And then this one follows Eve, who is the youngest sister, and her parents are basically like, can you like just figure out what you want to do with your life? So she finds this bed and breakfast. She's very into cooking, and she finds this bed and breakfast, and first impression does not go well, but she and I believe the owner, eventually she ends up working at this bed and breakfast, and it's the shenanigans between the two of them. I love her writing. I needed to get my hands on them, so I have. Actually, the next one I'll talk about is another one by Talia Hibbert, and that is The Roommate Risk. This is an ebook that I picked up because she put something online that basically said like, this is one that I wrote a long time ago. It used to be called Wanna Bet, and she has kind of rebranded it and is very excited about it. And she said that this was the book that she was the most proud of writing, and needed to get my hands on anything Talia Hibbert, to be honest. So if she's proud of it, I want to read it. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I do know it follows these two best friends, one female, one male, and something happens with our main female's living situation where she's basically kicked out, or like something happens and she can't live there anymore, and the guy has a huge crush on her, but because they're friends, he's like, no. And like one of his like rules for his reactions and his interactions with her is to never let her live with him. And so they get into this situation where she has to live with him, and sparks fly. I love her steamy books, so we are going to give this one a shot. The next one is one that I've actually already read. I got the ARC, I don't even remember when, but it came out earlier this month, and that is I Speak Boy by Jessica Brody. This is a middle grade story that basically is a very loose retelling of Emma by Jane Austen. I personally loved this story. I felt like it was incredible with the very like minimal callbacks to the original, but it also completely stands on its own. We follow our main character M, who at the beginning of the book gets herself and her best friend into an interesting situation with a boy that she's convinced her best friend likes, and it's convinced likes her best friend. And then one day she wakes up with this app on her phone that can just magically translate boys. And so she kind of becomes the matchmaker for their school. And then, you know, all of the fun stuff that comes with Emma, with her like falling for someone she doesn't want to fall for, and you know, young love. But I loved it so much, I had to get my own copy. And also I got it from this amazing Canadian independent bookstore. I believe it's called Vintage Books. I will leave their Instagram below. They had this incredible deal where like you can get it signed and personalized. So I did. The next one is another Kindle book I think I got for like $1 or less because it's ridiculous and I don't need it, but I got it. And that is Pemberley, which is the first in a very long series that's a retelling of Jane Austen, but there are dragons. There are dragons! I'm so excited. So I don't really know a whole lot about what this is about, except for the fact that it's a retelling or reimagining of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, but there's dragons and there's some kind of ridiculousness with this dragon egg. I didn't need to know anything besides Pride and Prejudice and dragons, and you put them together, and I'm very curious, so I picked it up. The next few I'm going to do together because they're all part of the same series, and if you have watched my ACOTAR vlog, you will have seen it because I purchased the rest of the ACOTAR series. We have ACOMAF, ACOWAR, and I don't even know what the short term of this is. Frost and Starlight. Sass? I don't know. ACOFAS. But these are the second and third, and then the novella that kind of like binds the two series with her new one that just came out. And I loved the first one so much I had to get my hands on them. And like I know not a lot of people love these new covers. I don't have any connection with the old covers, but I just like how fun and bright the colors are. That's where I'm at. So yeah, I feel like most people know what ACOTAR is about. It follows a girl named Feyre who shoots a wolf in the woods, and that wolf turns out to be Fae. But she is taken to the Fae world because she killed this wolf, and the story that comes from that. It is loosely based on the story of Beauty and the Beast and the story of Tamlin. I know the second is a lot of people's favorites, so I am planning on reading, actually I'm planning on reading both of these in June. If you've seen my TBR by now, we'll see. They're thick ones, but I had to do it, you know? And then when I was out buying those books, of course I couldn't come home with just the things I meant to come home with. So I picked up The One as well, which is by John Mars. It's like a thriller that's different, and I've seen a couple of people talk about this. I know Kayla from Books on Lala has talked about this. I know G from Book Roast has talked about this. It was Kayla who really first like is the one that I saw this and I was like, oh, that looks interesting, and then I moved on and I haven't been able to not think about it. So I'm very nervous about this because it does not sound like my thing, but I'm so interested. It takes place in this world where basically a simple DNA test has been created, and you can find your soulmate based on DNA. And I believe it follows the perspectives of a bunch of different people. Some of them are with their soulmate, some of them are married and not with their soulmate based on this test, and I believe one of them is a serial killer. So I don't expect it to be like the best thing ever, as you can see from the blood drip on the cover, but it just spoke to me, you know? It's just, there's something about it that is intriguing. So I'm gonna give it a shot. When? I do not know, but hopefully soon. And then the last thing I got when I was out to buy the rest of ACOTAR is a manga. It's a 1-volume, kind of like one and done manga, and that is 7 days, Monday to Sunday. This follows two boys. It is a high school 3rd year and a high school 1st year. And I believe the 1st year is known for a girl asking him out on Monday, him saying yes, going out with her for a week, and then on Sunday breaking up with her, and on Monday having a new girl. So this 3rd year decides to get in on it and asks him out, and it's the two of them and the possibility of this new boy breaking his week of dating cycle. But it sounds super cute, and it's, like I said, a one and done. It's a pretty thick manga, but there was just something about it that spoke to me, so I'm gonna give it a shot. It looks super cute. The last little bit here are all books that my husband picked up because of book fair. His school does, you know, the Scholastic Book Fair. Very excited. I didn't find anything I particularly needed this year, but we did pick up a couple of things because he found some of them interesting. The first one of that is the first in the Artemis Fowl series by, oh goodness, Owen Colfer? We watched the Disney adaptation of this summer when it came out, and both were very intrigued by it. People who have read the books despise the TV show, so I'm very curious what this one is going to be about, but I decided to pick up the first one. So there we go. Another one he found interesting is this one, which is With the Might of Angels by Andrea Davis Pinkney, a historical fiction book that takes place in the time of Brown versus Board of Education. We follow I believe, our main character, Dawn, and she is now going to what was previously an all-white school, and it's just that situation which we all know is not going to end well, but you know, oh, she's also in Virginia, which was not a place that loved that. So yeah, sounds interesting. Love historical fictions for kids that revolve around tough subjects. So I will also be giving this a read at some point. This next one's a little silly because it's the third in a series that we don't own. I know. And that's this one. It is All the Wrong Questions, Shouldn't You Be in School by Lemony Snicket. So this is a series that I didn't even know existed, but apparently Lemony Snicket has written a series of books that follow the life of Lemony Snicket before he wrote a series of unfortunate events. This one is the third in that series. Hopefully we'll get the first and the second at some point, but that just sounds fascinating to me. It's just like, it's like a mystery. They're solving these mysteries, but it's also about this character of Lemony Snicket. But it's also got very fun pictures in here as well. There's full page ones too, which was definitely a thing in Series of Unfortunate Events, but they were not colored, and these are just, they're so fun. So I don't know what I'm getting into, but I'm excited to try it nonetheless. But we do need to get our hands on the first two. And the next one is one that my husband picked up randomly because of the author, and that is this Wonder Woman Warbringer graphic novel, which was based on the novel by Lee Bardugo. It was adapted by Louise Simonson. I don't know a whole lot about Wonder Woman, so I'm intrigued because I like the idea of Wonder Woman. I think that's fascinating. We'll see what happens, but we picked up a graphic novel. And the last book I picked up is another Kindle book, and that is Straight On Till Morning by K.J. Sutton. I finally bought a book by her. She has been an author that I've been very interested in for a long time, and in May she did like a surprise release, but this is a adult steamy retelling, very, very loosely based on Peter Pan. So I don't fully understand what this is about all the way, but I do know it follows Wendy, who is in need of money, and someone in town knows that her family is very much in need of money and says, hey, you know, I won't blackmail, well, basically they're blackmailing her, but like, I won't tell the world that you're in need of money, and will like kind of give you some money if you do this thing for me. And I believe Peter Pan gets involved, and her goal is to kill him? Maybe? I don't know. It's a single standalone fantasy story, and I've heard incredible things about this author's writing, and I haven't tried any of it, even though I've been meaning to for a very long time. So I'm excited about this one. And that's it. Those are the very many books that I definitely just breezed through very quickly that I picked up in May/April. But that's it. Those are all of the books that I purchased in May/April. I hope you enjoyed. Again, if you want to see my online book buying video vlog that I kind of did, I'll leave that linked above, or any of my Avatar vlogs or anything that I mentioned in this video, I will leave linked above or down below. But let me know if you've read any of the books that I have mentioned in this video. I'm very excited about a lot of them. There are a lot of them. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to go check all of those out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!